up, guys? This is Ryan Kiefer with Blacktop Mojo, and you're listening to the Big Dog Benny Henderson Jr.
All right, guys and gals, how you doing? This is the Big Dog Benny Henderson Jr. And we are here on Music Wire Online. And we're with a gentleman who's in a band, an East Texas-based band, rock band, a tremendous band at that, by the name of Blacktop Mojo. They hail from Palestine, Texas. And if you haven't heard of them, go check out blacktopmojo.com, because these guys are the real deal. And I just heard of them back in March, and I'm like a solid fan since then. But their first album came out back in 2012, entitled I Am, and tremendous album. And I got something in my mouth. That's why I don't do podcast shows sober, because when I do it drinking, they're so much better. But I chose to do this one sober, and it just don't come out right. But anyways, but now they're working on their second album. You know, I know they should be finishing up on the finishing touches, but we'll ask the guy here in a second, because I really don't know. But let's go ahead and bring him on. It's a guitar player, the one and only Ryan Kiefer. Kiefer, correct? Am I saying it correct?
Yeah, that's right, man. What's going on?
I'm doing great, man. I appreciate it. Like I said, I apologize. I'm doing this sober, which is really odd. So, you know, and
I understand, man. You know, I mean, we know it's like, I don't know if you've heard, but we got a guy that rides along with us everywhere we go. His name's Kenny Rogers, and every time he's sober, it's a totally different bird there. So it's crazy.
He doesn't. He probably doesn't stay sober too long, does he?
No, because we don't watch him sober. He's kind of all he does is just sit there and back there in the back and whine in the band, and then we finally just say, screw it, just give him the whiskey, and you know, it puts him in a better spirits, but he's still annoying.
It's kind of what my mom told me, like when I was a baby. You would just cry, and I'd give you the whiskey, and bam.
So, boom, that's it.
That's what I'm talking about. Man. Well, you know, it's crazy. Well, you know, I know you guys have been working on the second album, and y'all were Jimmy Johnson, correct? Am I saying it's Jimmy?
Yes.
Okay. See, like I said, I don't have my computer up. I know, and I say Jimmy Johnson, not the former Dallas Cowboys head coach, but he was with the Muscle Shoals Swampers. He actually helped launch the career of Leonard Skinner, if I'm correct. Did their debut album?
Yes, yeah, he did. He sure did.
What's it like working with that guy?
Man, it was really an experience that I can't really explain unless you're there, man. Because it's just like, you know, you watch the documentary on Muscle Shoals, and you watch, you know, all the people who he's worked with, and it's really awesome being in the same room with a music legend like Jimmy Johnson himself, and you know, he's worked with so many artists like Bob Seger, and you know, he brought in the Rolling Stones, and yeah, he actually recorded the first version of Freebird by Leonard Skinner, which is it's different than the modern version you hear today. There's a little more piano, but it's just really cool hearing that kind of thing, man. It was really awesome.
Yeah, and to have that, just all that, not only experience, but just excuse me, the history behind it all. That has to be the craziest part, you know, knowing that this guy worked with one of my favorite bands, and just a legendary band.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, he's been on, you know, back in his younger days before he actually before the Swampers went off by themselves and got their own studio. And you know, he was the session player for Fame Studios down there, and they actually he was on Aretha Franklin's albums, Percy Sledge, all the old school R&B, you know, singers back in the day. He was probably on those records, so it was pretty cool, man. It's really awesome being in Fame too. That was an awesome experience.
You know, I got to ask, like I said, y'all are working on y'all's second album now. When I spoke with Matt James, the singer, he said that you guys didn't have a title yet for the album. That usually y'all kind of get that there at the end. And I'm kind of wondering, is there any new news you could let us know about the album, when it may be out, or just a timeline or anything? Or
well, we do have the album title. I'm not at liberty to say quite yet, but we're thinking it's probably the official release is going to be sometime in early January, probably. And we were thinking we were going to release it towards the end of the year, but being an independent artist like ourselves, we need more time to do the PR stuff and really build up the hype for the album, and get it to the radio stations and all that good stuff. And so that's what we're leaning towards. Now the people that did the pledge campaign, they're going to get it probably at the end of September, hopefully. So and that was just kind of the the plus about doing the pledge campaign is that you will get the album extra early. So but the official release should be sometime in January. I'm not sure. We haven't decided on the exact date quite yet, but we will let you know as soon as we do know.
Now, that is quite a title there. I'm not at liberty to say just yet. That's a pretty neat title. Where'd you get that?
It's pretty sweet, man. It's we all agreed to it, the other day. And so no, but yeah, no. As soon as we get word that let's go ahead and get the title out there to you guys, we'll shoot it your way.
Now, and I gotta say this, and like I said, the first album came out, I believe, in 2012, and it's a tremendous. I mean, just a tremendous album. Like I said, I'm not just trying to blow smoke. I'm being tremendous, just being honest as can be. I mean, it's passed the drunk test, the sober test. I mean,
thank you, man. I appreciate it.
It's a tremendous album, and y'all don't have that sound of like a rookie. I mean, y'all are talking. Y'all don't have all the amenities that like all these big bands do, but y'all have a quality of sound that is just is extremely well. Now I got to quit kissing your butt here.
Thank you.
But
thank you.
Now the second album, I kind of want to know your thoughts on how it's coming out and your thoughts how the fans will accept it, because you guys really set the bar high on the first one. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you feel that it'll appease the fans just as much? I mean, should we expect more of the same? In your face, just hard, or just kind of give us your insight of it all?
Well, what's interesting about the first album is I really didn't have much to do with it. So the only thing that I'm playing on, and that's actually the song that I helped write, was "Thrive" on the first album. And we were in the middle of me transitioning from another band into this one, and it's a long story, but right when they were recording the first album, they were talking about bringing me in full time, so I went and recorded "Thrive," and then like right after they got done recording, they called me up and said, "Man, you gotta come in full time with us." And so I finally agreed to do that. I'm glad I did, and so it's my point being is I think that you're going to have a little bit different sound, but it's still going to be the Blacktop Mojo you recognize, just a little bit. I think it's going to be, I would have to say, I don't know, man. It's not too heavy like metal, but it is going to be heavier than the first one. But you're still going to have your songs like "Back Home" on there. You got a couple of those, and so I really do think that it's going to pan out to be, I think, it's just going to be awesome, I think. Not to toot my own horn or anything, but I am really proud of the songs that we did, put together and everything, and it's coming out great. It's actually in the mixing process right now.
Well, I know the first singles already came out, "Where the Wind Blows," and if that is like a prelude to what we all can expect, I think we're going to expect good things.
Yes, yeah. It's pretty much going to be on that that level right there, and then there's going to be probably there's actually a couple of songs on there that's pretty dark. I think for the the real rockers that just love rock and roll are going to absolutely love, man. It's going to be good. And the good thing about this album too is I don't think, to me, every song sounds different from one another. So, meaning like, on a lot of albums you hear, you can, a lot of songs sound consistent, but I think this album is going to sound different from one another, kind of like Shinedown does. You know, they'll put out a single and it sounds like this style, and then you hear another one, you're like, wow, man, that's almost not Shinedown, but it is type of deal. But,
yeah, it's tremendous band by the way as well.
Yeah, man, yeah, they're awesome. So, but no, I think it's going to be great, and I think everybody's going to be, you know, happy with it. So,
what about let's kind of go back to what about some of the influences that influenced you to want to, you know, become a musician?
Well, part of it, I think the biggest part of it would be my dad, because he's the one that listened to rock music back when I was younger and everything. But I may get a lot of hate on this, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. But when Creed's first album came out, for some reason, that you know, that's what made me like, oh yeah, I got to do this, because the first album was great, you know. And so Mark Tremonti of Alter Bridge and Tremonti is probably one of my biggest influences. And then you got Jerry Cantrell, and then, you know, all your classic rock guys, you know, Led Zeppelin, you know, Jimmy Page, Kirk Hammett, Metallica, James Hetfield, you know, all your Gibbons, you know, Eddie Van Halen, of course. But yeah, that's really where it all started. And I think I started playing back in maybe 2000, 99 or 2000, something like that. So I've been playing for a little while. Just a little while.
And you know, it's really funny that you mentioned Creed, and you say, you know, I may get a little bit of crap for it, but it's funny because actually Creed was a tremendous band. I mean, that's what's so.
Yeah.
The deal is, I mean, really, I mean, come on. I mean, they really have What If, that song right there, just I mean, this is be real here. And Mark Tremonti is a tremendous guitar player, man. And and Scott Stapp was really good until he went off. He flipped the script on us, you know. But I think he's doing better now. But
yeah, that's what I heard, man. I think he went off the deep end, and then like he got into rehab, and he's doing fine now.
Oh, it's great.
So,
but
yeah,
Creed was my own prison, man. Come on, Human Clay.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really good music, but it's like once you reach this multi-platinum status, they're like, oh, you're no good. I mean, like Foo Fighters. I love the Foo Fighters. I mean, Mark Grohl is a badass in my opinion, but people's like, oh, he sucks. Why does he suck for? Because he's a tremendous musician, you know, and you know, everybody hacks on Nickelback, and rightfully so. But what I'm saying is, no, actually, Nickelback's first album I thought was really good. It's just people just. You know how fans are, man. They just like to.
Oh yeah.
Just wait until about another 5-10 years when you are like these millionaires on MTV Cribs. They're like, yeah, that Ryan Kiefer, man, he blows. I mean, he's just No, I'm just kidding. But you know.
I hope it never comes to that, but you know.
Well, yeah, you hope it comes to one thing, but not the other. But anyways, I mean, hey, it is what it is, and it's these bands. They have. I mean, they influence different people, and I think it's great. I think it's great that you're influenced by bands as such. I mean, now if you'd have said, well, been listening to Elton John and Bananarama and oh my gosh, what's that guy who sings Faith? Oh yes, I mean but George, even then, who cares? I used to listen to Elton John. Oh Lord, it just went south on us. I got to repeat.
Oh, there you go.
But
you did. You had told on yourself.
Yeah. All the years though, I've heard Beanie and the Jets. I'm like, I'm gonna punch you in the face if I hear it one more time.
I hear you.
But it's all good, man. But
I tell you who else was a big influence of mine too, and that's Tom Schultz from Boston.
Oh yeah. Shoot.
My dad. That was one of my dad's favorite bands as well, and man, he was just a genius on the electronics too, on the guitar pedals and all that stuff back in the day, and I think Boston's just freaking killer. So
Oh man,
I grew up listening to a lot of them also.
You know, the one thing I like about Blacktop Mojo, and I'm being honest, y'all have that sound that's not. It's not like the cookie cutter sound, if you know what I'm talking about, because there's a lot of people now, they just like, oh, they want to play music and follow everybody else, you know. Let's follow this person. And it's just, I was talking to, and you could disagree or agree, but I was talking to a guy the other day about music. And, matter of fact, I was talking to my wife about it. And I get drunk talking to so many people I forget. But we were talking about music, and I said, you know, that's the one thing about Merle Haggard. His voice, I mean, back in the day, if you couldn't sing, they would know it. I mean, you had to really be talented, and that's why I thought Merle Haggard was such an extreme talent, because his voice. Don Williams, I mean, I don't know if you're in the country, even Don Williams, his voice, and then you have people today that they're like Britney Spears. I told my wife, I said, I don't listen to Britney. I mean, I've looked at Britney a lot. But I mean, I never, but you know, I've heard her music, you know, I'm not going to lie. And I told my wife, I said, when have you ever heard her bust out on a high note and get down and bring it from the gut up like a Pink or a Christina Aguilera? And they're studio. And just like Justin Bieber, I mean, I'm not a fan of Justin Bieber. Now, my wife likes some of him, and I kind of question our marriage at times, but, it's no, I'm just kidding. But I mean, these guys that come in the studio. Listen, you remember what? Chuck Norris, Walker Texas Ranger. They put him in the studio and kind of made him sound kind of half-ass. I mean, but that's what I like about the older musicians, and that's what I like about Blacktop Mojo, because Matt James, that dude could sing. He could well. I mean, he could get out there and hit those notes, and so.
He can.
Yeah, all you guys.
He's, in my opinion, the best rock singer out there right now. And that's not hating on anybody, but I guess that's just my biased opinion. But man, he's. I don't think he knows how talented he really is.
No,
he's really good.
Yeah, and I like the fact that all you guys are pretty much down to earth and still very, very humble. You know, I've interviewed now I've got Matt James and Matt Curtis or Cat Murdis, whatever you call him. So y'all have all been very down to earth, and I appreciate y'all.
Yeah, man.
In closing, is there anything you'd like to add or say, or to the fans? Anything you want to just, you know, whatever you want to talk? Just you got to open for them, Ryan.
Man, I would say just be on the lookout for a new album, and we definitely appreciate the support so far. And man, just y'all keep rocking out there, and we appreciate you guys very much.
Alright, guys and gals, we're back with Crazy Headlines. This is the big dog, Benny Henderson Jr., Music Wire Online. And we had Ryan Kiefer on the program, but I think he had to go ahead and jump off. But we do have the one and only drunk Kenny Rogers on the program. Kenny, how you doing, my brother?
I'm pretty good. How about yourself, Benny?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Now listen, we're going to do crazy headlines. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just say a crazy headline, an actual headline, and as hard as it may be, the drunk Kenny Rogers is going to say the first thing that comes to his mind. Are you ready? The first headline is City Unaware or City Unsure Why the Sewer Smells.
Well, the first thing that comes to my mind is a big old pile of poopage. That's about it.
Okay.
Was that good enough?
Yes, sir. The next headline is One armed man applauds the kindness of strangers.
Oh boy. I think the first thing that comes to my mind is the guy sitting on the ground clapping with his feet for strangers. And he's getting tips for it. He's like a big freak show in the street.
Third headline, being bullied. The third headline, being bullied. Just act less gay, advises teachers.
Well. I think I'm too drunk to answer that question. No, I think, let me think about this for a minute. Can you say it again?
Being bullied. Just act less gay, advises teachers.
Yeah, I think you're going to have to move on to the next one because I'm thinking some pretty dirty thoughts on that one.
All right, pretty dirty. I can't. I think I'm drinking with you. Speaking of pretty dirty thoughts, let's go ahead and close out with this last one. Porn star sues over rear end collision.
Had a little accident there in the scene, and we can just imagine what happened in that. Just get a lot of money for it. You know what I'm saying? I've been there myself. Never mind. Just don't even put that in the interview.
It's too late. We're live now with you. What is your drink of choice?
Well, I think everybody knows my drink of choice is Jackie D. Daniels.
And
maybe a special Coke every now and then.
Right now, what is your blood alcohol level?
It's probably about a 6.2. Maybe a little higher. I don't know. I haven't really had a breathalyzer. I have a breathalyzer in my truck every time I have to get in it. I crank it up, but before I crank it up, I have to blow in the breathalyzer. Of course, you probably know about that yourself because you're probably drunk. Anyway, so yeah, I haven't done that today, and but I'll average about 6.2%.
All right, we thank you for your time. Is there anything you want to say or add just to the fans out there? You want to say?
Well, to all my fans out there, just remember Kenny Rogers is number one, and you got to know when to fold them and when to hold them, and that's all I got to say. You'll know what I'm talking about.